Hello and hi. So we proceed on the next subtopic, effects of alcohol. We're still under the same chapter, carbon compound. So let's go. All right. So the first one we proceed on the learning outcomes. So over here, you can refer from your textbooks that we have six learning outcomes for this subtopic. The first one, you have to state the elements that can be found in the alcohol. So we have two elements that you're going to state later. Second one, you can give the examples of alcohol. So what examples of alcohol, give their names, right? The third one, you have to describe the process of producing the alcohol. All right, so technically we have two processes over here. Next, we give the general characteristics. All right, so we have a few that I'm going to list later. We have five general characteristics of the alcohol, and then we have the uses of alcohols. I believe it's very commonly known, it used as the beverage or the drink. And the last one, you give the example and explain the effect of the alcohol on the human health. All right, so we proceed on the first one. So before we start, we should know what is alcohol, right? So based on me, I've listed down three basic introduction to the alcohol. The first one that you should know, the alcohol is the organic carbon compound. So you have know that organic is derived from the living organism. So technically the alcohol derived from, yes, it's a living organism. So later we're going to discuss how we want to produce the alcohol from the living organism. Right, the second one, uh, the composition or the element that contain in the alcohol. So alcohol consists of three main elements, which is the carbon, it consists of the hydrogen, and the last one, it consists of the oxygen. So these three are the main composition of the alcohol. And the last one, how we want to know that it's the alcohol. So of course, from its names. So the names of the alcohol is N with OL. Example I can give over here is the ethanol. All right, so this is the common name of the alcohol because its name ends with OL. All right, so next we proceed on the second part. So we proceed on the second part, which is the production of the alcohol. So technically we have two ways to produce the alcohol. The first one by the process of the fermentation. Fermentation is the process by adding the glucose solution with the yeast. You have learned about the yeast and the glucose as well. We are using the glucose, which is acts as the food to the yeast. Yeast is example of the fungi that we have learned in chapter 1. All right. So when the fungi, which is the microorganism, have the glucose, which is the food, so they can survive and reproduce. All right. So we check a video on how to do the process of the fermentation. Hello, everyone. So today we proceed with the experiment on the fermentation process. So this is the experiment setup. So we have the lime water put into the test tube. We put the glucose solution as the food and then we use the yeast. So this one is the instant yeast. So we just put 2 to 3 tablespoons into the conical flask. Right? So make sure you put the dry yeast first before you put the glucose solution. Now is the process of putting the yeast into the conical flask. So this is the process of the fermentation will take place. After that, we put the glucose solution. It is better that you measure the glucose solution. All right. So we have the measurement if you use the science process skill book, but over here I just pull so that we just want to make the activity only. Right. We don't have the exact measurement of the apparatus or the experiment setup, and then make sure we just close back the stopcock on the conical flask, and then we just let it be in this experiment for 1 to 2 weeks. All right, so make sure we just put this in the dark place. That's all. Based on the video that you have just watched, so by the product of the glucose and yeast, they will produce the alcohol. The main idea is we are producing the alcohol and the carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide we can detect by using the lime water. That's why we just put the lime water. So when there's a carbon dioxide, there will be the changes of the color for the lime water. Alright. In Bahasa Melayu, fermentation is proses penapaian. And lime water is air kapur. Alright, and we proceed on the second process. The second process we call as the hydration. This process of hydration is we just put the water, so we just add the water to the alkene. Alright, so this one we produce the alcohol. Alright, it's a simple process of the alcohol. It's the simple process of the alcohol by using the catalyst over here, which is the sulfuric acid. Alright, so these are the two basic processes to produce the alcohol. So next, let's rewatch a video of the distillation of the ethanol. Distillation of ethanol in Bahasa Malaysia ialah proses penyulingan etanol. So today we proceed with the distillation of the ethanol. So inside the ground bottom flask we have the impure ethanol, or the process that we get from the fermentation of the alcohol. So we boil this inside the ground bottom flask, and then the vapor will be carried into the Liebig condenser. As you can see, it's just be carried and turns into the droplet. We collect in the beaker at the end over there. So that we call as a distillate. Alright, so now we see there will be the water in over here. Alright, so water in we get from the tap water, and then there will be the water out. So you can see the water coming out, and we can adjust by raising the tap water. So this process will cool down the vapor from this impure ethanol inside here. So you can see there will be bubbling over there, and we can record the temperature over there. Alright, so next we remove the Bunsen burner. I want to show the bubbling. Inside the bubbling there, we have the porcelain chips. So the function of porcelain chips actually want to give a uniform heat and want to prevent the bubbling, but we still have a small amount of bubble over there, but it does not give a most problem to the liquid inside there. Based on the video that you have watched regarding the experiment of the distillation of the ethanol, let's try to label the apparatus or the experiment setup. So this is the experiment setup based on the experiment that you have watched. So you can pause the video and try to label by yourself. Going to check later. Okay, I hope you have labeled the apparatus. Alright, so now let's relabel the apparatus or the experiment setup based on the experiment that you have watched. The first one we focus on the top, which is the thermometer. Thermometer function to record the boiling point of the ethanol or the alcohol. Normally the boiling point is around 78 degrees Celsius or sometimes up to 80 degrees Celsius. Next, we have the stopcock. So this one want to stop the or maintain the solution in the round bottom flask from spillover. Okay, next to the right we have the Liebig condenser. This Liebig condenser function to change the vapor or the gas into the liquid form or the liquid droplet. So which means the vapor come from the round bottom flask will be changed to the water droplet. Alright, so next we have the beaker collect the water droplet. So this one we call as the distillate. Distillate can be the pure alcohol. Over here is a pure alcohol. Alright, so next we move on. So inside the round bottom flask, we have the alcohol or the mixture of alcohol. This one we have the mixture of alcohol. And normally we have the mixture of alcohol with the yeast. Alright, or we have the impure alcohol. At the bottom here we have the tripod stand. Alright, and this one actually for the label of the Bunsen burner. So this is the Bunsen burner. Alright, so we're moving up. So we have the round bottom flask. And the last one we have the red dot stand. Well done if you managed to get all correct. Good. Based on the experiment that you have watched, I think you can write down the equation of the fermentation of the alcohol and the distillation of the ethanol. You can pause the video and try to write down the equation. Okay, I hope you have paused the video and you have write down the equation. So let's we discuss together. The first one, the equation for the fermentation of the alcohol. Fermentation of alcohol is the production of the alcohol. So the first one, of course, we need the food, which is the glucose. And then they should add with the yeast. So this yeast acts as the microorganism. So inside the yeast we have a zymase enzyme. So this zymase enzyme which acts as the catalyst, so speed up the process of production of the alcohol. So you can write down the answer over here is either ethanol or the alcohol and plus the carbon dioxide. Okay, well done if you managed to get the first answer correct. Let's proceed with the second one. The second one, the process of the distillation of the alcohol or the distillation of the ethanol. Okay, so the distillation takes place when we have the impure or we have the impurities inside the solution. So now we have the alcohol with the yeast inside. So now we want to remove and we want to get the pure alcohol only. So we just use the impure alcohol or the impure ethanol and then we just heat up and then we get the pure ethanol. Alright, so well done if you managed to get the second one also correct. So next, let's proceed. Okay, so this part we're going to learn about the characteristics of the alcohol. So I have listed down 5 characteristics of the alcohol and we can see the video on the few characteristics of the alcohol. The first one start with the letter V. The second one you have the keyword low. The third one you have the spaces and in the emoji and fats. Number 4, you have the two emojis, and number 5, you have the two images. You can pause the video and try to answer first. Okay, so let's recheck the characteristics of the alcohol. The first one, we have the word for volatile. Volatile, in other words, it is easily to become vapor. In Bahasa, we call as mudah meruap. So this means it's very easy to change or to turn into the vapor. Example, you have a perfume, you just spray on your hand or on your skin. So you can just feel that it disappear. Where does it disappear? It already vaporized into the vapor. So that's the idea of the volatile. So alcohol, the first one is volatile. The second one, it is low in density. Low density. This means it's very easy to float. Low density example like the oil. So when oil we put in the water, so the oil will float on top of the surface of the water. The same thing over here for the alcohol. Alcohol have a very low density. This means it's very easy to stay up on the surface of a liquid. Alright. The third one, we have the what and the first emoji and fats. So the third one is it is dissolve in water and fat. So this one is a water. Alright, so I have a video on this one, so let's check out the video. Let's check out the mixing of the distilled water and the alcohol. So over here I have prepared distilled water and the ethanol. So I have prepared 3 ml of distilled water inside the measuring cylinder and 3 ml of ethanol also inside the separate measuring cylinder. So now I put the distilled water first into the test tube. And then I want to have a close up. You can have a look when I want to mix the alcohol. So I'm going to pour the alcohol. You can see it try to mix up with a gently shake. And then we have the solution of the distilled water and the ethanol. So this shows that it dissolves in the water. Okay, so next we have the emoji. So we have a blue and we have the fire. So this one is very easy. So the burning of the alcohol, they will produce the blue flame. It will produce a blue flame. Alright, so let's check out the video that I have prepared on this activity. And the last one, this hand shows it is small or little, and this one is just like the smoke. So the idea over here, I want to mention they produce small or less soot. Soot is the smoke. Normally the black smoke came out during the burning. Example of the burning of the hydrocarbon like the petrol and diesel. So let's recheck the video on the comparison of the burning of the alcohol and the hydrocarbon. Let's recheck the burning of the alcohol by using the filter paper, and we put the filter paper on top of the flame from the burning of alcohol, and we check for the presence of the soot. Alright, it's clean, so this means no production of the soot from the burning of the alcohol. Now let's we check from the soot from the burning of the hydrocarbon. You can see by using the filter paper on top of the flame from the burning hydrocarbon, it can produce the black soot, alright, or the black smoke. You can see by using the filter paper, we can collect the soot or the black smoke, right? You can see the production of the soot over here. So how is it? All the characteristics of the alcohol you can see by the video activity that I have done last year. Alright, so now we proceed on the uses of the alcohol. So over here we have 5 uses of the alcohol. As you can see, I use all the emojis. So you can pause the video and try to find the answer on the uses of the alcohol. Alright, so let's recheck the answer. The first one uses of the alcohol is very common. You can see is the beverage or the drink. Alright, so normally we use the word beverage or the drink. The second one, I think this one is a very common one. Alright, it's not the syringe, but it's more to the medical. We use in the medical scope, which means we use the most common one you can see is the alcohol swab. Alright, the third one, this one actually shows for the perfume. So we use the alcohol for the production of the perfume. Okay, next, number 4. So this one you can see is the like the petrol. Alright, so this one we use the alcohol for the production of the fuel. Most of the alcohol we use for the production of the fuel, so because it can generate the heat. And the last one, the keyword is clean, so this one for the sterilization. So for cleaning the surface, right, or on any skin area. Okay, so these are the uses of the alcohol. I think this one is easier for you to memorize by looking at the emoji. Next, we proceed on the last subtopic, which is the effects of the alcohol on the human health. As you know, the effects of the alcohol on the human health is tremendous. So let's discuss on a few parts of the human body. The first one, the eye or the vision will be blurred. The vision will be blurred. The second one is the brain. So you know brain is the center of the human body. So it also coordinate the human body. So the coordination will be impaired. The coordination will be disturbed. The coordination of the human body will be disturbed. Next organ will be the kidney. The kidney will lose water more than usual. So this means the losses of water will be higher. Losses of water will be greater because of the effects of the alcohol. The heart and blood pressure also will be disturbed because it will increase the heart rate and the blood pressure, and the blood flow to the skin also will be increased, so that's why it will make the skin become red. Next, for the liver, so the top part over here is the liver. So the liver will break down the water of alcohol per hour is higher, so it will break down. Next, the stomach. So the second part is the stomach. So this is the stomach. So the alcohol absorbed in the stomach and the small intestine. So here is the small intestine. So the absorption of the alcohol in the stomach and the small intestine will make the people or the person to vomit easily, because much of the alcohol absorbed it cannot withstand it. Alright, so those are the effects of the alcohol on the human health. So we have finished subtopic 4.2 regarding the alcohol. So that's all. Thank you and see you next on subtopic 4.3. Bye bye.